We know now that all of these nations had somewhere among them people who were strangely mystical. That actually mysticism was behind practically every religion that arose in the world. Mysticism was an experienced doctrine. The individual had an internal experience of his own, and this experience converted him to a concept of truths. The Jewish prophets, as we find them in the Old Testament, were for the most part isolated mystics. They lived in the deserts or in small communities or monastic groups. They depended for their instruction upon an internal enlightenment, because it was a spiritual experience in themselves. These prophets felt entitled to refer to themselves as messengers of God. The message they received came to them in their meditation or in their devotions. Most of these prophets were unworldly persons. They made no pretense to a physical grandeur. They did not work for money. They did not expect fame. They were devout persons dedicated to the revelation of inner certainties that had been bestowed upon them by divine intercession. In the Greek, Roman, Egyptian, Persian, and Semitic empires, any young person who wanted to become a public benefactor could receive an appropriate education. And today, if a young person has this type of an attitude, he will be talked out of it. People will tell him, if you follow this way, you will be poor and forgotten very quickly. When philosophy was the ruler of life, these young people were honored. It immediately set them aside as a superior person, as one who had dedications beyond the ordinary. And if the individual succeeded and became truly a philosopher or an illuminated human being, a sage, he was honored by all who came in contact with him, and a king could not remain seated in his presence, yet he may have been the son of a farmer. And this gave you great privileges, but also great responsibility. The basic ideas that bound these people was the belief in a divine power at the source of life, a divine power that could not be corrupted or compromised by man, a divine power that had as its primary purpose the perfection of all that lives. The individual must decide within himself where values were. If they fulfilled his ambitions, his egotisms, or his various forms of self-centeredness, then they were wrong. He believed in peace. He might also be considered to be a champion of world brotherhood. He believed in friendship between all that lived. He believed in honesty in relationships and practices. He believed in kindness and fidelity. Those who entered the temple made a commitment of themselves. They assumed responsibility for the control of their own conduct. There are these powerful figures of the great teachers, those whom the world will never forget. They come in all nations. They have come in all times in history. But they have stood out for principles and have left behind them institutions of integrities, which, if obeyed, would preserve the honesty and the peace of the world.